Seriously, geekies are the fun people in the world. I guess.
Hey there! Our episode will be honoring the Love Month, and I'm so delighted to introduce to you my very close friend Jeddy. Jeddy and I will be talking about recent developments in her life, and we hope some of our single ladies or lads will learn from her experience. Oh, what makes you happy these days then?
I think despite all the things that have been happening all over the world, at the end of the day, I have someone to come home to, and that alone makes me feel blessed.
Maybe our listeners will want to know, where did you find love?
It's a cliche. Yes, I'll put it on the table right now. I met him on Tinder without the intention of being serious.
Although it's cliche, but it's like 1 out of 100 instances,
I
like
agree to that as well, but um, a lot of people actually have a lot of people have common misconceptions about using Tinder.
yeah, I think I'm one of those people who have that misconception about Tinder as well.
There are a lot of dating apps out there, and they normally put label to each app. Like this app, if you're looking for a serious relationship, you use this app. If you're just looking for a hookup, you use this app. And Tinder is the number one list for hooking up.
What went through your mind during the first few, I don't know, like swipes?
Yes, that's Tinder. Pretty much, when I first used Tinder, I realized there's an algorithm behind it, but the longer you stay there, the lesser you are visible to other people. So that's how I figured it out. So what I
Oh,
would do is I would just use Tinder and just stay there for like 24 hours or 48 hours. And those days are enough for me to find someone to, let's say, have a date or talk to. You get what I mean?
yeah, but I'm just wondering, like, you will stay in Tinder for 24 or 48 hours. Is it like you swipe those times only and deactivate the account?
I would download Tinder. I put on my profile, and normally Tinder would recognize first users, and um, I make my profiles really catchy, and I post really nice photos, not selfie photos, and I only swipe to those who super like me.
There's like a super like, just like, and
One swipe right is if you like someone, and then super like is you actually get the notification, so you would know each day you're only allowed one super like if you're not paying the app. So that's my rule. First rule on Tinder is only swipe those who super like you. That's what I used to do, and I'm not trying to brag that normally I get enough super likes that I could actually sort the people I want to meet and I want to talk.
oh, very juicy information right there. It's very interesting because I download Tinder one time because I was just very, very curious how it works.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that,
Because
yeah? Another juicy information right there. So, did you get to a point that you paid for the app because, like, like, oh, okay, I want to have more super likes, or you're just fine with the free one because you're getting the super likes anyway?
I never paid any app. I never paid Tinder. And this is again like I've tried on Tinder, like in just less than 2 hours, I get 15 super likes. So I'm pretty much
Mm.
happy with that, I guess. And
Mhm.
the way I sort the people that I've swiped right on Tinder is their ability to hold conversations. I'm very particular with words, or they converse really well, then I there's a chance that I'd meet this person in person. You get what I mean?
Yes.
So
Yeah, I know what you mean.
that's how I decide to meet people. If they can hold a proper conversation, or they're smart, like you can tell Glee if someone's smart enough through just reading their messages, right? You get what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
I guess it's all about how you project yourself on the app, and how you sort the people that you talk to. So on my end, I've pretty much met really great men on the app, and some of them are still like my friends. And it all depends on how you project yourself. It's like the law of attraction, Glee. It applies on dating apps as well. Yes.
Yes. If I might ask, can you give some tips on how our zesties and zesters could project themselves in Tinder or in any dating app so that they could get the super likes that they want and be like you who is able to sort the people that they want to meet?
The very first tip that I would give is just be yourself. Like, don't be don't project to be someone else on Tinder, because Tinder is not a social media. So you project, like, just be genuine. Like, I'm a big fan of being genuine, and then post fun photos. Like, don't post selfies on the, like, while you're on the gym doing something in the gym. Like, you project fun, and you project yourself the way you want to be treated. You get what I mean?
Yes. And so what if I'm kind of like a geeky person, not so fun type? Is there a chance that I could still have some super likes or likes in Tinder? What are your thoughts on that?
Seriously, geekies are the fun people in the world, I guess.
I think I get what you mean because I'm as geeky as anyone can be.
You can project it, just be yourself. Just you can just actually put a geeky profile, and that's enough to actually, like, to find fellow geeky to super like on you.
Mm. How are they different when you've met them?
They're pretty much the same when you meet them. Like, when I met them, they're pretty much the same. I think when you converse, if you just let the conversation flow the natural way, when you actually meet them, it's more fun, because you'd be like, oh, so this is you. And I normally, like, before meeting them, I always tell them, oh, you should leave your checklist at home, because we're not taking the list when we meet. You get what I mean?
Yeah, so can you expound a little bit more on the checklist that you've mentioned?
Yes, it's basically like, if you are going to meet someone, you have this checklist on your head that says, oh, she should be sexy, she should be smart, she should be this and this and this. Like, she should like this music, she should eat this and stuff. So that's what I mean on checklist. So if I'm actually meeting someone, I drop all the lists, and leave all the expectations behind, and just take the person as he is. So that's what I that's what I do, and that's what I expect that person to do as well.
That's a very good tip for us. And for me, if I would still bring one on the checklist, and that would be the person should be the same face in when I meet him. You know,
Which
like okay, if like
yes, yes. I always catfish. Yes, I always joke this Glee to them, like, oh, whenever I start talking to someone on Tinder, I'd be like, oh, you know what you should do on your first date? bring that person to the beach and push the person to the beach, so you would know you're not being catfished.
Ah, okay.
That's
but the
more.
thing is that maybe that guy posted like a 10-year-old photo of him, like 10 years have passed already, like he was 10 years younger on that photo. Have you had that experience?
So far, I didn't have any experiences like that, but I bet if you ask men, they probably have stories to tell you about it.
On the other side of the table, right? The girl.
He super liked me on Tinder on Wednesday night. I remember the day because I was really no, not because it was something it was magical, but because I was at the lowest point of my life that day. So I just that night I had nothing to do, so I downloaded Tinder, and Jono just happened to be one of those men that super liked me,
Mm.
and it started from there. Like he super liked me, and he asked me, like he started the conversation like how's your week going, and
Mm.
I was just being honest, like I just told him, oh, you know what, I'm really having a bad day, and I feel like i'm I'm drowning, like I said, like I was being vulnerable with him
Mm-hmm.
without like, but I made it look like a joke, I guess, and then
Mm.
that's how the conversation started flow, like started really good, like from me being vulnerable to like it opens up a good conversation.
Mm. Yes. Yes, and I think the receiving end would be also putting his walls down because he felt that, oh, this person is
Yes,
putting her walls down as well, and
yes, exactly. So that's how we started talking. He was active on theater. I was also active on theater during those times. But then, what he actually stood out among anyone because he was like I could actually feel he was very genuine as well when we were like conversing. That's how it all started. We just like conversation. Conversation really matters to me.
yes. So, but it looks like that initially you said that Tinder has this reputation that people who hang out there are people who just wants to hook up, but it turned out like along the way you wanted
Just want
someone to like maybe just talk to, and just being friends. It's kind of like ironic maybe to our listeners out there, but
yes,
this happens.
yes. Uh, I think the common misconceptions, like it's the media plays a vital role of giving these misconceptions to a lot of people, because if you watch movies, they'd be just showing off like, oh, I put myself I'm on Tinder, so I'm just like hooking up. What really happens is most people who are on dating apps, they don't, maybe some of them want to hook up, but a lot of them as well want something serious. They're looking for someone, and these dating apps are available for them to meet someone without being like they know that these like,
Judged.
yes, and if you are on dating app, the intentions are already there that you're looking for someone, so dating apps make it
Yeah.
obvious to a lot of people that, hey, I'm looking for someone.
How long did you conversed online first, and how many maybe days, months that you were able to meet in person?
Oh, whenever like I met Jono, like he was in Sydney when we started conversing. I think after 2 days, like the conversation was nonstop, and after 2 days we
Mm.
met in person.
But the thing is, I know this that he's not on the same city as you were currently at that
Mm.
point in time. So can you give us a little bit of teaser on what went through as like I think he lives in another city.
He was about to visit Queensland, Brisbane, that weekend to visit friends and families, and we agreed that he would come to visit me to the Sunshine Coast on on the weekend. So that was the agreement, and but it just happened on a Thursday night, I guess. We started talking for 5 hours nonstop, and I've never had it with
Oh.
someone else. I've only had it with my best friend for 20 years. So
Mm.
it was something to me.
Ah,
So
so you can like sense a spark there.
yes, there was already that.
Ah, yes. And but the only thing is like, are you really sure that it just happened to he just happened to go to Queensland on that weekend when you first met? Like,
Yes,
really? Really?
yes, because he had plans with his friends on the that weekend.
Okay.
So it was him wanting to meet me.
Ah, okay. So it's already in the stars, I'd say.
Yes. And I think one second tip to girls on Tinder, or like our listeners, is that if you when you start talking to someone on Tinder, meet them right away. Don't wait. Don't be scared to invite him out on a coffee or a date or a drink or two.
Oh, that's a pretty good one. I For me, if I would have swiped right at that point in time, like I would have waited like a long time to see if this is good to meet. But that just busted my thinking that it's actually good to meet them right away.
Yes, because it does, like, that person that you're talking to doesn't really assume that you just want sex or you just want to hook up. They
Mm.
they're also like you, having doubts as well what you want, and it makes you make it easier for them, like, meet them in public places. That's the advice, though. If you don't drink alcohol, or you know your limits on alcohol, don't invite them drinking out. Just maybe coffee or like a walk.
So that's a very awesome advice for our listeners. When you met him during that weekend, could you say that he was the same person that you've talked to or chatted to in Tinder?
When we first met in person, he was a lot more better. He was a lot much better.
Oh, so that's a good signal.
He picked me up at the train station in Brisbane, and when I first saw him, he was already flustered because he had already a drink or two. He
Mm.
had to meet he had to meet his boss that morning, so they had a few drinks together, and he picked me up 2 p.m. at the train station. And I remember the first impression was he wasn't as tall as I expected him to be.
He didn't put the height on his profile then? He didn't?
He did, but maybe because met I've met a few, um maybe it was just an expectation. Like, I know I should have I know it contradicts my leave the
Where's the
checklist.
checklist now?
But it's just like oh, he's not actually as tall as as I expected him, but he was really good looking,
Oh.
and he was like a child. When I first saw him, he was like a child, and it just makes me like it made me smile just looking at him.
Mm.
And there was an awkward moment during the first 1 hour of our first meetup. So there was an awkward moment because I didn't realize he was that good looking as well. that played a
So this is like literally like love at first sight.
I think you've met him. You know how he has this childish grin on his face. So that was the first thing that I saw, and yep. And then I don't know. The first meet up was a big thing for both of us, but I was not really like we were both not looking for something serious at that stage. He just had this long relationship with someone, and on my end, I've had some baggages as well. So we were not we were not talking about relationships. We were actually talking about our Tinder dates. One thing I could describe our first meetup was we were both very honest and vulnerable.
So it definitely opened some doors and windows to your relationship. Now, in hindsight, how were you able to arrive at this level, like a little bit step up from just dating in Tinder?
I guess it all boils down to honesty at the end of the day. So if we are both being honest to each other and accepting that imperfections are real, like they really happen. So I guess that's how we survived our relationship. We still choose to understand each other's pain and history and choosing to be together.
Wow, that's a very inspiring story you have for us there, Jetty. And I guess those pieces of advice would also apply to couples who met in a traditional and conventional way.
This is one thing that our zesties should think about, Glee, is that if you don't feel you can be real with that person when you're together, or if you feel like there's confusion as to what he feels or what she feels about you, then that you should talk to that person, or you should not let yourself be more in love or be committed to that person, because the right person will never make you feel that. The right person will always set your expectations and will always try to be honest with you.
My key takeaways from Jetty's experience was that love can sometimes be found in a quote unquote hopeless place, the most unlikely places, I'd say. But this doesn't happen to everyone, so ladies and lads, please be mindful of that. Wherever you are in your relationship, Jetty's experience tells us that first, honesty is the best policy. We've all learned that since kindergarten. Second, leave the negotiable items on your checklist when you walk out the door to meet your date. Third, save time, meet that person right away. And fourth, be safe, meet in public places, and wear masks. So, I hope you enjoyed this talk, and I'll see you on the next episode.